Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Welcome back to the show. We are joined once again today by LaTasha Henry. Excited to have her here as the founder of Empowerment Journey and to talk more about this safe place that she offers for so many people out there who are dealing with depression. So, welcome back today. How are you?
Hi, thank you so much for having me again. I am doing well, thank you. How are you?
Great. I know we just talked offline about your recent knee surgery, so I'm sorry that you're in pain. You're a little held up today, but I'm so happy you're here to still empower and
Thank
talk
you.
through. No, I appreciate that. First and foremost, tell us, how we can contact you.
Yeah, so you can go to Wealthy Women Entrepreneurs Network, or you can go to my website, latashahenry.com.
Perfect. And tell us a little bit about what Empowerment Journey is.
Empowerment Journey is a coaching business and program where we help individuals who are going through a rough time or dealing with depression and anxiety. And we will do one-on-one coaching with them. We'll work with them on the 8-week program and just help them, reach goals or hard obstacles that they aren't able to get through. We help them through that.
Perfect. And you're based out of where?
West Olive, but we
Perfect.
are all over.
I was
So
going to
I
say
do my
you're
yeah.
worldwide, right? Do you, right?
Yes. Yes. I do my coaching on Zoom. That way it's recorded because what
Yep.
I like to do is go back and show my clients their progress. Because when you're in the middle of doing, your journey, it's hard to reflect on where you were and where you're at now. So it's been, I use that to, keep them going and to show them that they are, healing and, going great with this journey. So.
Beautiful. And by the way, just to point out, you said, West Olive, not everybody might know it's Michigan, but, so she can work with you anywhere. And could you just share a little bit about your background and specifically your certification and what you do and why you're helping so many?
Yeah. So I am a certified life coach. I'm also certified in crisis prevention. So kind of like with mental health and depression, things like that. And I am also a certified motivational speaker. And I started this because I have a brain injury that I'm trying to recover from. And I was watching a lot of like the news and stuff like that. And I started seeing like our younger generation suicide. And
Mhm.
I was like, that is just so sad, And so I just did a little bit more research and I saw that, that it's the mental health and they're just struggling with that. And, so I was like, okay, let's see how I can try to help, you know,
Yeah.
take away that stigma. You know what I mean? So that's when I started making videos. And I used TikTok, which I never used before. So it
Hmm.
was a whole new thing for me. And when I started making the TikToks, the response was just, overwhelming and so amazing and nothing I expected. And I realized while I was, making my videos, just trying to give encouragement, um, I would get messages from individuals saying that they wish they were able to do that. They wish that they had a place where they could go and,
Hmm.
and talk about what has happened to them and just to feel like they're supported. And so I was like, I can do that. You can come talk to me, So that's how empowering journey started, and then empowering you came about was because of the messages I was getting. And so I just had people want to talk because it starts a conversation. It starts a conversation that maybe they can't have with other people.
So it's this conversation that, by the way, which everybody, deserves that chance to have a conversation to express their feelings and how they feel, what they're going through. And if you don't mind, just, personally, I know you've been through a lot, you shared with me, but for new time listeners, would you mind explaining kind of a little bit about that and why you're so, empathetic to people in need like this?
Yes. Yeah. So I had some things when I was younger. I was molested as a child, and around 24, I was raped. And I was a single mom for 17 years, and I can remember what all of that felt like the feeling that I had. And I can remember you know, judgment and stuff because I was a single mom, right? And so I'm trying to work hard to not have that judgment on my kids, and then
Mm-hmm.
um, while doing that, I worked in public safety, law enforcement. So it was one of those things of you have to have this strong front 24/7, and you can't, don't let anyone know what's happening because then they're going to judge you and then you're not good enough. And so for me, I got to a place and I saw what was happening. I was like, there's too much stigma around this, and what people think about people who either have dealt with trauma or have things happening mentally, and they're still okay,
Yeah.
they're still okay. And we just need to make sure people understand that because they don't. And so with everything that happened to me, I just was like, there's got to be a way to show people that there is help and people care. So that's why
Mm-hmm.
when I took the class for being a certified life coach, I wanted to specialize with depression and anxiety, because I know that feeling, right? And so not only am I able to connect better with my clients, I also have the book education as well. So
Yeah.
I think both of that plays a big part, and why I connect very well with my clients.
Amazing. Well, thank you for sharing that. And do you want to talk a little bit about the work that you're doing and some of the things you're helping people overcome with your coaching?
Yeah. So, I have a client now who has different mental illnesses that she struggles with. And just being in public around people and having conversations is something that's hard for her. She gets really bad anxiety and just doesn't want to be around a group of people, like social
Yeah.
anxiety. Um, and so we have been working together for I have her in my program because I felt that was the best for her. So
Mm-hmm.
she is in my 8-week program, and I believe we are on week 3. And she is now willing to go to the grocery store and not, you know, have someone with her, or not just have a list and go through. Like, she's going to the grocery store and she's actually taking the time to look around and to see what's going on, and interact with customers at the store. So within 3 weeks, someone who wouldn't leave, the house to go to the grocery store or the mall,
Yeah.
or, a party, is now going to the grocery store and actually trying to enjoy it. So, that's just one of the clients.
Got it. Thank you for that. And normally, how many, what's the program? I mean, because everyone needs different amount of time, I'm sure, right? But do you offer a signature series of sessions?
Yeah. So, I mean, everyone is going to be different on their journey, and they're going to be in a different place on their journey. So, there's going to be people out there who just want someone to talk to weekly, right? And to give them that support and to know they have that support. And then there's going to be individuals who are just starting out dealing with things, and they
Yeah.
need more support. They're going to need more guidance, and more reassurance along the way. So, with
Mm-hmm.
those are the ones that I normally put in the 8-week program.
Okay.
And we have workbooks. We have, different, they'll get a journal, and what they do is, I call it a journal, but it's really not. If
Okay.
something upsets you or something triggers you, right? I want you to write that down. I want you to write that down. I want you to tell me why you feel like that upset you. And then, on our next phone call, we'll go over that. We'll break it down. We'll see, what was happening and what was going on. And so moving forward, that's not going to affect you like it did before.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, thank you for that. And also, I just want to point out, I know we've, spoken in the past, but the benefits of working with you, I mean, you've gone through your own fair share, and not to say no one else, has, but you really can empathize and connect with someone. And I love that it's all done in, the comfort of your own home, where some people have that anxiety to get out, to actually go get ready, to go drive in a car, the traffic, so it's nice to know that you're able to sit here like we're doing today, whether, whether we're in bed because we have an injury or not, you still could work with someone, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
help.
that's what I love about that because um you never know what someone is struggling with. And so I didn't want it to be they have to come to me or they have to be in a group setting and we only do it with a group. I wanted them to be comfortable. I wanted them to feel safe, which is why it's like the safe environment,
Yeah.
because if you're not feeling safe and if you're not comfortable, then you're not going to really connect. You're not really going to share what's going on so I can, really help you because you're going to be nervous, you're going to be anxious, you're going to be thinking about other things. And I really just want my clients to be able to focus on them
Yeah.
and tell me what it is that's happening, and we can actually have genuine conversations to help them, grow and get to a better place.
Well, thank you. Well, what else, LaTasha, do you want to make sure we cover for today?
I just, I want to make sure the audience knows that there is a place to go. There is, people that do care, and I take on at least 3 clients a week, new ones. And the people who leave, the program are so much healthier and happier, and they're able to just thrive better in life. And so I would just encourage people to reach out and know that they're not alone. They're not alone, and they are loved.
Oh, thank you for that. I love it. And what do you find most rewarding about, this job?
Yeah. So, I have dealt with people who have had some horrible things happen. And, they were struggling and they were feeling alone and, not understood. And um, people, didn't know. And so if you don't have the conversation, no one's going to know to be able to support you. Right.
Mm.
So, um, for me, when I have one of those clients, getting them to a point to where they're able and willing to share with some of their family members is huge. And watching that unfold and seeing them do that, and then like the relief of okay, now it's not a secret, right? Like I don't feel like I'm keeping a secret or lying to people. And then I'm able to help them work through that with their family, right? Because most of the time if the family doesn't know and then they do find out, like it's a shock to them and they're upset or hurt, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
so it's like a bigger behind the scenes things like happening, but I also help them get through that. And so seeing my clients come, all the way through the program and from where they were and to where they are at now is just amazing. And it just is like, yes, this is what it is. This is what it's about. Like you guys, are happy and healthy, and you're out there doing things now that you felt like you couldn't do, like 3-4 months ago.
And you mentioned, I know the signature, the 6 to 8 week program, right? But do you work with some people less or some people more? And what is the process? How often are you meeting like this live talking? And is there, what has to be done? Because you can only do so much, and there's that accountability factor where they come in. But what is the process to work with the coach?
Right. So, I mean, all coaches have different things that how they do things. For me, I need, I would have a free consultation call with an individual. We would talk about, what it is that they're wanting to have help with and what they need. And so, after hearing what it is and where they're at, in their journey, that's when I would decide if they need 8 weeks or if they need 6 weeks, or maybe they just need coaching, right?
Yeah.
And so if it's someone that needs the program, what we do is we have 3 days a week we do coaching, and then they have a number where they can reach me, in a crisis mode, right? And the workbooks, there's different workbooks for different clients because it just depends
Okay.
on what they're dealing with. You know what I mean? Like someone dealing with depression, may not need a workbook for anxiety, right? So it's just
Yeah.
it varies. Um, And then on our call, the 2 days that we're off on our call, we'll go over the journal type that I spoke about earlier. And we'll see like what happened there and then work through that. And then we have a goal. Every week we have a goal. Whether the goal is to go outside by yourself or leave your curtains open, whatever it is, we have a goal. And every week we will achieve that goal by the end of the week. And then we have a big goal that you are going to achieve by the end of the program, right? So going out in public by yourself and having fun, you know, like that's just an example. So our little goals will be steps to work towards that big goal. And so every goal, you know, is obviously different, but it's great to see people get their strength back and feel empowered and feel like they're not alone and here we can do this. And so it's fun.
Oh, I love it. I see in your eyes you're glowing and it's, so like what is your schedule for today? How often are you working? I mean, and how do you manage, all the clients in between? And are you work weekends too?
Yeah. So, I never wanted to be someone who didn't have myself available for people
Hmm.
if they needed someone. You know what I mean? Like again, that is something that I have felt, right? So I do have myself available for the weekends, but that is for crisis, right? Like if they are like
Yeah.
in total crisis and they need to talk to me, here, fine. This is where you reach me. Um, Clients, I try to make sure I never overbook myself because I want to make sure they're getting the time that they deserve, right? So I don't
Yeah.
ever book myself back to back. And normally I only take on because every week is at a different starting point, right? So I will only take on 3 to 5 clients for a new starting week. That way they're, not all needing the same at the same time and I can do different things. And it's just, we do group coaching with some individuals. Others are like, no, I'm not there yet. So that's how I deal with my schedule. And, as I spoke earlier, I have knee surgery. I had that done on Monday.
Oh.
Um, and I didn't stop taking clients though. Like, I let them know, hey, this is the time frame that I'm gonna, be having surgery. And
Hmm.
so I had to reschedule a couple of them, but I still made sure I showed up. I still made sure I was there and we did what we needed to do. Because I don't want
Yeah.
to be that person that doesn't show up because I had a bump in my road. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. Oh my goodness. All right. Well, we still have, oh my gosh, 8 minutes left in the show. What else do you think is important for us to make sure we cover for today?
Yeah. Again, I just think having conversations, talk to people. There are so many groups, if people are not aware, there are so many groups on Facebook that have like a huge support of people like sisterhood or, Tammy Maynard has about like 5 different Facebook groups and they all support women in different ways. So the support is out there. I have my own group, Empowering You, you know, and the show Empowering You 3 on TikTok that people are able to go and watch and hopefully if they're feeling a certain kind of way that it hits them and they find value in that and either want to come on the show or they start a conversation with a family member. So, yeah, that's all. I just want people to know there's support out there. And, these are some of the ways that you can get it.
Also, with in your time doing this, I'm sure, do you still need a coach or how does it work when you are a coach? You still have your own struggles? You speak to someone or how does that work? Just
Yeah.
curious.
So, you do hear a lot of things, right? Like you do. And some things I'm like, oh, and of course, when I'm hearing this stuff, and writing and taking down notes, and it's not until afterwards that I'm actually able to process.
Yeah.
And like, wow, that is something that someone, experienced. Yes, I do have a therapist. I do speak with a therapist and work through some things that maybe were a lot for me to hear, like
Yeah.
there's some trauma out there, as everyone knows, people who have kids that have passed away before them and like hearing like how horrific that was and, just stuff like that. So yes, even though I am a coach and I am certified and I'm certified to deal with like depression and stuff like that,
Yeah.
I still need that support as well.
Oh, thank you so much. Well, also, just to point out, if someone's interested in working with you, do you offer initial conversation?
Yes, so I do have free consultations. And so if you call or go to my website, you are able to schedule a free consultation, and then we'll talk and we'll go over like what it is, where you're at and what it is that you want to work on. And we'll begin putting steps into place to get you where you need to be.
Got it. Awesome. Love hearing that. And also, so any type of mental health, any type of trauma, you mentioned from like depression, anxiety, and even like childhood traumas, right? You help people get through those types of situations, whether it's any type of mental, verbal, physical, sexual abuse. Could you share some other, things that sometimes people, can benefit from working with someone like you?
Yes, yeah. So there are a lot of people who have suffered childhood trauma, and they have not yet allowed themselves the time to heal. And so with that, it is very difficult for them to process and do things if they did allow themselves to heal, right?
Yeah.
So taking the time to let yourself heal is very, very, very important, because what maybe they don't realize is even though they think that they have dealt with it, or they, are just like forgot about it, like I can work out on my own. Like I did that myself. So I know, but I'm strong enough. I can just put it behind me. Let's just keep going,
Yeah.
don't put myself in that situation again. But what I didn't realize was by doing that, there were, certain triggers, that were affecting me. And I wouldn't know why. And then because it was affecting me, it affected my kids. Right. So even if you feel like it happened so long ago and you're fine, you still need to heal. So I encourage all of my clients, make sure you have time. And if you know anyone else who is suffering, maybe talking to someone is not for them, but there are other things we can do. They can have the workbook and we can just talk about the workbook, right? They don't have to talk to me right away. There's other things that can be in place, but just heal.
Love it. Heal. HEAL. Remind us how we can contact you, by the way.
Yes. So you can reach me at Wealthy Women's Entrepreneurs Network or LaTashaHenry.com.
And tell me more about the network you're a part of, by the way. Is that helping people all over the United States? Is it?
Yeah, so Wealthy Women's Network, it is a publishing business. And so I think I mentioned last time about my book. My book went bestseller international, so that was so exciting. And yes, they help women on their network. Just it's like a podcast, TV show, different things like that.
Got it. Well, that's awesome that you're here helping so many. And what do you have planned for this weekend? Is there any self-care, any tips for those out there with mental trauma, mental stress? What do you recommend?
Yes, yes. So for me, I ask my clients to make sure they cut out some time, alone time, to process, to just like bring themselves down from the whole week, maybe just a half hour, whatever, and to be able to tap into reality for a little bit, and what's going on around them. And sometimes that's just sitting in the shower and just like, being alone and feeling the calmness of the water, so whatever is calming and whatever is soothing is important to make sure you do, at least once a day, to help with the stress and stuff. And that's what I will be doing because of my knee surgery.
Oh my
If
goodness.
I'm not laying here, I'm going to be, around some soothing music and trying to take a nice hot bath.
Wow. Good for you. You can't get the stitches wet though, right? What is the recovery
Oh,
time
right,
on that, by the
right.
way?
Yeah, it's about a month for like the whole knee itself to heal on the outside. But I've already started physical therapy, and so I'm hoping that by the end of July I'll be good.
Aw, all great. Well, thank you again for being here, for joining us. And hopefully are we back on again next week?
Yes, yeah,
Okay, good.
yes,
And
yes.
again,
I love
reach out.
speaking with
Any
you.
questions, right? A free initial
Yes.
consultation. Don't hesitate.
Yes, please. We have a team waiting, to take anyone's phones calls and, to get you guys information that you might need. So yes, please reach out.
Yay. And empowerment journey. Are you on social media as well? Can we find you, LaTasha Henry, on Instagram or Facebook?
Right. So you can find Empowering You on Instagram, and Empowering You 3 is on TikTok, and that's also where the show is right now. And yeah, you can find LaTasha Henry on Facebook.
Yay. Awesome.
Mhm.
Awesome. Yeah, because I went on your site before and I clicked on the Facebook thing. I guess I'm not logged in on my account, so I can't follow you, but it's empowering underscore you and then the number 3, right?
3. Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
it says 3.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, I thought you said 30. I'm like, oh no, wait, I'm on the wrong one then.
No, it's 3.
The
It's
negative
3.
self-talk, the positive self-talk. I saw it and I could see you again
Yes.
when I scroll on down, but I wish I'm not logged in to follow you.
Uh,
Pleasure to have you here and
yes.
always.
Thank you.
What was that feature magazine you were in? Force magazine?
Oh yeah, yes, I was. Yeah. So Cindy Whitman, she has Force Magazine and Manifesting Bullshit podcast. And so
Yeah.
I was on that. And
Oh
then
yeah.
she had me in her magazine, Forced to Be Reckoned
Awesome.
With, which features a lot of beautiful individuals doing wonderful things and helping other individuals. So it
Beautiful.
was very nice.
All right. Well, thank you again for joining us and looking forward to next week. Feel better, okay? And
Thank you,
enjoy your
sweetie.
weekend. Have a
Thank
good
you.
one.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.